the OBA one-on-one basketball league. We heard about it a couple months ago, but now it's official. We're getting our first dates.
Here.
You're here. All right, talk to me about the one-on-one basketball league, the OBA.
So One's Basketball Association, it came to mind. I have two sons of my own, and then I run a AAU program. And you know, my boys don't watch NBA games. My boys don't watch college basketball, and even the guys that are in my program don't watch. They can't sit down and watch 2.5, 3 hours of basketball. But what they can do is short form like YouTube, highlights and stuff like that. They gravitate towards. So that was the idea. So like, why not create something that's short, entertaining, and what they can resonate with, because they play one-on-one basketball all the time, and I get questions, when I'm in these arenas about who's a better basketball player, who could win in one-on-one between me and Kobe, me and KD. My name is always thrown in there. So that was one of the reasons. And then I look at, how many college athletes or just athletes, period, that don't get the opportunity to play professional basketball. This is a way of really connecting with those that still play at a high level, still love the game of basketball. And I want to find out who's the baddest basketball player, one-on-one basketball player, the ruler of the court that we have. When you think about when we consider the best of the GOAT, we talk about Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James as the greatest basketball player of all time. But how do we know? They're the greatest basketball player within a team sport. If you line LeBron James up with all 400 players that are in the NBA, you think he's going to come out on top if they play one-on-one?
I don't know.
No, right? So that's what I'm saying. So I want to know, it's like, UFC fighting. Like when these guys are going up against each other, we know who's the baddest man because it's just one-on-one. And that's what I'm building, giving guys an opportunity that may have made a left turn along their journey to their professional career. Who knows what happens, but I know I'm identifying those guys and have a great story to tell with these participants that I'm looking for.
All right, so we already heard some NBA guys who wanted to get in, but your focus right now is to find that diamond in the rough, that finding somebody out there that hasn't had that opportunity yet.
Yeah, no NBA athletes, no NBA players. If you look at what UFC did for their platform, who was the UFC fighters before they got on that platform? The same. We want to be the UFC of basketball, right? Identify because there are some guys on these blocks on the corners right now that will beat your favorite NBA players in the game of one-on-one, and that is a fact. There's some guys out there that still got some game and play at a high level of basketball.
All right, so the first couple weeks, it's 7 cities. It's going to be tournament, but you want it to be more like the UFC, right? Like fight nights, week. Talk to me a little bit about that format that you're looking to.
So the format that we're coming up with, so we're going to 7 regions, right? We're going to go to 7 regions, and there's 32 participants in each region. The top 3 guys will then get an invite to Vegas for the championships. The number 1 guy from each region will win $10,000, right? That's the prize. He'll win $10,000. So now we got 21 players that are playing for the championship in Vegas. And then it's just a format of, you lose, you're gone. So, we'll identify who's the king of the court, win $250,000. And then from that point on, we will do like UFC. We'll do once a month to where we have our top 50 rankers, players, and then we'll just do like a fight card. It'll be a basketball card. Number 1 might be, playing against number 3 player in our rankings.
All right, talking about the UFC. The UFC has a championship belt. I don't know if you've got that far ahead yet, but if you win the championship, you got a crown?
We got a championship crown.
The ruler of the court. All right, a little basketball talk real quick. When you think about this concept, everybody's always had the hypotheticals of one-on-one, who's the greatest. Who to you has been in the history of basketball was the greatest one-on-one player of all time? If you were to pick somebody against the whole field of basketball, who would
Outside
you?
of outside of myself, I'm going with Kobe.
Kobe?
Yeah, yeah, Kobe 101. Absolutely. Like
I
that
mean, you
that's
played Kobe, so you must know.
yeah, yeah, for
Person.
sure. Like Kobe he's a 101. He was a 101 basketball player. Like that was his style. He brought that to the game of basketball. That's why he was so good.
And what about in today's game? Who do you see as the best? If they had a tournament right now in the NBA, who do you think would win that?
I think 6'3" and 6'3" and below. Uh maybe I don't know how tall Kyrie is, but I'll put him in that 6'3". I go with Kyrie to win the 6'3" and below, and then I go with KD to win, 6'8" and above.
I think that's an interesting thing that you talk about because when this was first announced, people were kind of worried about the size differences.
Yeah.
For the first year, you're not gonna have like weight divisions, size divisions, right?
So I think that's where UFC had figured it out. You remember, back in the days, they used to have the big guys going up against the low guys. No one wants to see that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see a.
You don't see Shaq versus AI or something like that.
I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. So I want to see guys that are equally, height wise, going up against each other because I think that brings out great level of competition and it's me versus you, not Goliath versus this little small guy that's trying to compete on a high level against somebody he can't affect this shot, affect this play because he's just too tall. So you want to keep it evenly matched. That's where we're going to get the best product and the best play.
But do you have something in place for that, or right now, or not yet?
Yeah, eventually. So everything is based on the product that I put out there. So I'm not gonna put that type of product out there. That's
Okay.
a
That's another good thing is you are the decision maker, right? You sit down and this year is going to be a test for real because this is brand new. It's brand new. It's like the UFC when it first started. It's brand new, but you get to figure it out, and you're going to get feedback from the people from Twitter. I'm sure is going to be very vocal.
Yeah. So I mean, I will vet the talent out, and again, we're gonna put a great product out there. We're gonna do a great job of marketing. This is gonna be something that you've never seen before, right? I think you're going to be able to resonate and identify with what we putting together. We're going to create some stars. It's going to be great, man. We got this lined up perfectly to be a long lasting player in this space.
I think a lot of people are interested. I think you said the first shows will be limited audience, I think,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
the idea is to have decent sized audiences, right?
Yeah, we definitely want to have in-person audience. We don't want to have a great big presence in person, but for season one we just want to keep it intimate and have a good crowd and put on a great show and show that we can make this happen.
Awesome. So a little bit more basketball talk. You got into the news cycle. I'm not sure if when you talked about the draft trade that you're supposed to be traded to the Bulls back in '97, I think. If that would have, I think Reinsdorf came out and he talked about. He said that it was an MJ's decision, but whatever. If you got traded to the Bulls in '97, do you think that would change the trend? Would you have won a championship? Do you think with the Bulls, or how do you think that would have played out?
Yeah, the thing, I was 18 years old. I was a rookie, man. I wasn't, what everybody saw me as the player that I became. So no. Would have been a smart trade for the Bulls? I don't think so, because they were winning championships at the time, and you're trying to trade a top 50 guy for a rookie. In the long run, yes, that would have worked out for him. But short term, no, absolutely not.
All right, so a couple more NBA questions. We're getting into the end of the season. People are starting to do the MVP talk. Jokic seems like he's in the lead right now. They pulled the NBA writers. Where do you see the NBA? Who's the NBA MVP right now?
I think the front runner right now is Nikola Jokic, and followed by Joel Embiid. Giannis Antetokounmpo. Though those are my top three. But Jokic, I mean, his numbers are crazy. He got his team in the playoffs. He doesn't have his two of his best players, and he's leading the charge. He's an efficient player, and when you talk about the Western Conference and what he's doing for the Denver Nuggets, I mean, you have to have him out. He's been doing this all season long.
All right, one thing, you were on Shaq's podcast, and you had talked about if Giannis had played in your era, he'd have a little bit of an issue because they'd pack the lane on him. What player in this era right now do you see that's error-proof, that would go back to your era and still dominate the way he's dominating now?
I think Joel Embiid would have been really good in that era because of his footwork. I think he would have been challenged a little bit more because of the size that was in my era, and I think he would have stepped up to the plate and accepted that challenge. And I think we would have appreciated his game a little bit more because of the guys he would have did it against. We talk about the Rasheed Wallace, the Tim Duncans, the Kevin Garnett's, the Dirk Nowitzki's. I think we would appreciate his game a little bit more.
All right, last NBA question. We're getting into that playoff mode. Who do you see as the favorites to win the championship this year?
I got my teams in the finals. I got Milwaukee Bucks and the Phoenix Suns again.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right. Before I let you go, are you working on any other projects other than the OBA right now?
I'm always working, man. I'm always working, but OBA is my baby right now, building that up, and that's my main focus.
So what's the first date? April 30th, right? Houston?
They're in Houston.
Will that be streamed? Have you guys?
Yeah, we're going to live stream it. But to get the information, just go to obahoops.com, and we have all that information on there. So all your viewers, it's going to be a movie.